All right, guys, go and check out this compilation video. Here we go.
You guys, men are choosing themselves this year. No one is tolerating my bullshit, and it's stressing me out. It's stressing me out because who gave them the rundown? Who gave them the rundown? Where's the effort? Where's the effort? Like, why is no one begging me? Where's how dare you know your worth? Like, what? I don't know. This was not in my bingo cards of 2025. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not in my cards.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. Okay, they've been saying it for years. They don't need a man. Okay, they're good on their own. Now that more and more men are, saying, hey, I'm gonna choose my peace and focus on my purpose. Yeah, they can't stand it. Okay, they cannot stand it. This is crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. And we already know the numbers. By 2030, 45 to 50% of these modern women are going to be childless and single. So be prepared to see more and more of these videos.
I need the package, but I love it. If you love me to death, was high value, emotionally intelligent, and gave me everything that I wanted, the love, the trinkets, the gestures, and you were high functioning too. That would be awesome.
Right.
But we don't think we could get all that in one, so we settle for one or the other.
You can't.
Why can't we?
Because you don't qualify. A lot of y'all don't qualify for a high value man. Like, what makes you qualify for a high value man?
Okay, so how do you know you don't qualify for this? Again, we're talking high earning, high value.
Well, here's a few ways to know that you don't qualify. Have you ever met one?
I'm kind of still confused.
No, exactly. The reason why you want to know where high value men at and you can't find one is because you don't qualify for one. Watch this. You want to know how you don't qualify for a Rolls Royce? Watch this. Have you ever been in a Rolls Royce dealership? No. Why? Because I don't qualify for one. Exactly. You never even been in a Rolls Royce dealership.
Women that are fit, feminine, and friendly, they're not on the single dating market for a very long time, right? They may come out of a relationship. They may heal 6 to 8 months, do some self-reflecting. And then once they put themselves back out here in the single dating market, they don't remain single for very long, right? So it's quite fascinating that you have some modern women that have been single for 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Okay, damn near a decade, talking about all black men are in jail or they're unemployed. And it's like, nah, they're not checking for you, right? You're not even on the map.
Unless you're offering to pay for the babysitter, I'm not going on that date.
Huh?
Don't just assume that I'm going to be able to drop off my child somewhere, because most likely I'm not. Offer to pay for the babysitter. That's going to make me more receptive to want to go and spend my time with you.
The 25 to 30-year-old guys, I'm almost 36.
Yeah.
Those guys are excited to go out with me. They will plan the date. They will go the extra mile, and they have this young, fun, they want to impress me. It's the guys who are my age and older that feel kind of jaded. They're just yeah, let's go on a walk. Your walk, man.
A walk?
I'm sick. Don't ask me to go plan a date. You're not gonna, huh? Because you're gonna show up in Lululemon shorts and I'm gonna look somewhat cute. I'm gonna have to put on makeup. That the effort level is not matching, and I need to match.
Also am no, let's just FaceTime. You want to FaceTime vibe chat?
Yeah, that's what this walk is for. Count me out.
It's just crazy to think about, because if this was a 36-year-old man talking about a 25-year-old woman like this, you already know what time it is. Okay, people would come after him, talking about how he's a creep and he's a pedo. Okay, that's just the narrative and optics that social media or just modern women, generally speaking, that's what they're gonna run with, right? So it's quite fascinating that she's literally talking about 25-year-old men like this, thinking that this is a flex. Okay, that's number one. Number two, she doesn't realize that these guys are probably just buttering her up, okay, trying to get some cougar box. Okay, they're literally trying to have some fun. Okay, they're probably going to tell you whatever you want to hear and have a good time. That's just the reality of the situation. Okay, what is a 25-year-old guy going to teach a 36-year-old woman? Okay, what else is he going to do besides the you-know-what to a woman in this situation? I'm just saying. Okay, unless she's just trying to have fun and keep it moving. Okay, that could very well be a possibility. But this is a prime example of these modern women staying in the single dating market for too long. Okay, she probably met her husband 10 years ago.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it. Because I don't like being on the men's side. But y'all, we do blame everything, all of our actions on men. Nothing is ever our fault. Like, nothing. Every time another woman corrects another woman about something, it's always the result of something a man did. It's always about the man. Oh, I did this because of the man. I was acting like this because of a man. Bro, you was acting like that because you wanted to act like that. You did that because you wanted to do that. You're behaving like that because you want to behave like that. It has nothing to do with some damn. Like, I had to learn that too. No shade. You get what I'm saying? I used to act crazy as I ain't talking about exposing my body like that, but I used to act off my rockers. I got on top of the car while he was driving acting crazy, y'all. And I used to be like, well, it's his fault. He the one had me acting crazy. And don't get me wrong, like, his actions may have played a part, but it took for me to get in a relationship with another guy and still act that same crazy way for me to realize you just crazy. It ain't even a man at this point. You just a crazy ass.
I mean, listen, at least she was honest about it. Okay, but you have these certified crash outs, okay, FDA approved certified crash outs that will literally blame a man for crashing out. And it's like, no. This is who you really are, okay? You're crashing out and now you want to blame me and use me as your escape route as to justify your bad behavior. This is why you can't necessarily look at what they say, but what they do.
So basically now, because of you, he will think that he can attract a beautiful, gorgeous woman out of his league. Girl, what have you done?
Stop it. Get some help.
Why did I divorce my husband? I divorced my husband because I was making a certain amount of money. I divorced my husband because I thought I didn't need him anymore. I divorced my husband because I had this senior position at work and thought I held the same position at home. I divorced my husband because I thought I was better than him because I had my degree now. I divorced my husband because I thought a successful marriage meant I was here and he was down here. That is not success. That's sickness. I found myself divorced and out there looking for love in all the wrong places. This one and that one and that one and that one and this one and that one.
Jesus Christ.
And my body count going up and my value going down. I'm just going to call it like a TI is. All the while, my husband done found somebody else building a relationship and building a life with them. I should have stayed married to my husband. I felt like I was on this dark road with no street lights, pitch dark, and I couldn't find my way and didn't know which way to go. I felt lost. I felt like I was walking barefoot on that dark road with pebbles and hot rocks sticking my foot. I felt hurt. I felt alone because every time he and that one and this one and that one left my bed, I was alone all by myself. And which was supposed to be soft and comfortable for me, my pillow, it was now filled with tears.
I got married and divorced in my early 20s. I got married when I was 19 to my first boyfriend I ever had. We started dating when I was like 17 or 18. And then a couple years later, we got not married, which is also known as divorce. I literally never talk about this because I never speak publicly about it. Honestly, it's been such a hard thing to ever speak about. But I remember feeling really lonely through that process. And just in case there's one other girl out there who can relate, I will share a little bit. The person I married was an amazing man. He was great to me. We were really, really young when we got married. We got married during my parents getting a divorce, and I really wanted to make a stable family of my own. Nobody forced me to get married. If anything, people were like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Years later, I ended up getting a divorce because I woke up one day and I realized I'm best friends with this person, I'm roommates with this person, I'm co-workers with this person. We were youth pastors at the time, which I really, really hated, but that is for another story. Everyone said that being a youth pastor was my calling, and I'm pretty sure it was a prank call. But I remember thinking, I messed up and I don't want to keep wasting this man's time. Specifically remember getting the thought and hearing myself say, I'm married to someone else's husband. The sooner I let him go, the sooner that he can start that process with the person he really should be with, who's going to love him the way he deserves. I growing up thought that I was going to be like breaking the generational curse of divorce. Grandparents have been divorced. My parents are divorced. When I got married, a lot of people were like, you're gonna break this generational curse of divorce and it's gonna be amazing. So then when I wanted to get a divorce, I was like, but what about the generational curse I'm supposed to break? I also was very depressed at the time, but I had this feeling of maybe I'm supposed to break the generational curse of staying married far decades longer than you should, and then having people and yourself start over 20, 30 years down the road, especially when there's kids involved or ministries involved or all these things that you've built. I'm not saying this because I'm telling you, go get divorced if you have had a fight with your husband and you're like, let me divorce this man. But I remember going through the loneliest time of my life when that was happening. I was so embarrassed. I was so ashamed. I lost all of my friends, and basically my life had to start over from scratch.
See, I always find it quite fascinating when these types of chicks make these kind of videos. Usually it's about, you know, not feeling happy, or it didn't feel right, or I wasn't able to pursue a career, you know, something along those lines. Okay, when in reality, a marriage is not about happiness. It's not. Okay, if you're looking to always be happy or solely getting married for happiness, don't get married. Okay, to the 5% of women watching the channel, yeah, don't get married, okay? Because ultimately, marriage is about duty, right? It's about responsibility, especially when you have kids and, you know, you got responsibilities. You got to figure it out, right? If he didn't put hands and feet on you and ultimately cheat on you, I mean, what are we really talking about, right? And a lot of the times, like I said, the talking points of some of these modern women is ridiculous things. Now, she did mention religion and talking about being a youth pastor here. Yeah, I mean, looking at the scripture, what does the scripture say? I'm just saying. So, you know, let's continue here. Some of you guys may say, you know, at 19 years old, she might have been too young. That could very well be a possibility as well. But she also mentioned that her folks, her grandparents, they ended up getting a divorce. Okay, so, you know, maybe she saw that kind of growing up as well. And who knows what sort of impact that had moving forward.
Especially because I worked in ministry. Like, life was over. My life is over. God is done with me. Even though I knew that wasn't completely true, I still felt like, well, my life won't be as good as it would have been if I had stayed married. Even though I really felt strongly that this was not the right situation for me. I remember people telling me, you know, I'm not in the will of God anymore. I'm never going to be as happy as God would have intended me to be if I made this decision. I told a very close friend of mine who was a pastor, hey, I have to choose myself in this moment. I know that sounds corny, but like, if I don't do this, there's not going to be a Mariah to even be mad at. Like, I am at the end of my rope. I really need to figure this stuff out on my own. And that person said to me, you know, we don't choose ourselves. We don't live for ourselves. We live for our husbands and God. I'm sure he meant the best that he could, that those people meant that in a good way. I don't know. But let me tell you something. No matter what's going on in your life, whether you're getting married, getting divorced, having a baby, watching your babies grow up, going through a big change in life, or you're grieving or whatever, there's nothing we can do to mess up the grace of God. There's nothing we can do to extract ourselves from the love of God. And I know that we hear this all the time, but I need you guys to know I really thought my life was going to be so over, that everything was going to crumble around me and that I would never live a good life. But I still did what I did because I felt that much conviction to get a divorce. My ex is now married with 2 beautiful kids. He's very, very happy. I went through a pretty bad relationship after that. It was kind of abusive. I got out of that.
So you're telling me the guy that you divorced ended up getting married again, okay, ended up having 2 kids, okay, creating a legacy, starting his family, and you ended up in an abusive relationship? Okay. Interesting, but let's keep going.
And I wouldn't trade any of it for the world because that experience made me who I am. Now I look around my apartment in New York City, dating the most wonderful man in the world. I am not depressed. I have hope. I have joy. I know Jesus loves me. I'm living the life that baby me would have dreamed of and wouldn't even believe I'm living. The career that I love and that I'm passionate about. I'm not saying that this is because I got a divorce. I'm saying that even with all that I went through and all the things people thought would be the end of me, I thought would be the end of me, God has still blessed me. He's kept me. He's given me the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful life. And there was a time I never would have thought I would even make it past the age of 24. So the fact I'm here is such a blessing. And no matter what you're going through, I just want you to know that you're loved and you cannot outrun the grace of God, the love of God. And no matter what's going on, you're never alone. And it'll always, always, always work out for the good of those who love him.
It's just convenient how some of these modern women will meticulously put God in certain conversations, in certain positions, in certain scenarios, right? Because she's basically saying, listen, man, God wanted me to do this, right? God wanted you to get a divorce. God wanted you to be in a situation where you're back out here in the single dating market, because it sounds like you were more focused on your own accomplishments and the things that she wanted to do. Okay, she's talking about her life is so great. She's in a great career, right? So it seems like there's things that she wanted to, I guess, accomplish versus being in a marriage and being under a man. Okay, the leadership of a man when it comes to a marriage. And it seems like she wanted out of that situation. And now she's back out here in the single dating market. She said that she had an abusive relationship. Okay, now she's saying that she's in, I guess, another relationship where she's talking to a guy. She met a guy. Meanwhile, her ex-husband has already moved on with his life. And to the guys out here that still value marriage and relationships, right? You got to really do your due diligence out here to figure out who you're possibly marrying. Okay, if you got to do premarital counseling, figure out who you're marrying, have these tough conversations. See if your moral compass is aligned, your values align. How do you want to raise kids? You know, who's leading in the relationship, right? You got to really have these conversations and look beyond the physical. Okay, look beyond what you can actually see and get down to the nitty gritty of the situation. Okay, because the last thing you want to do is to marry somebody that does not align with where you're going and the vision of where you want to take the family and the situation. Okay, if you're dealing with a modern woman that has the residue of a modern woman or of a woman that's thinking about me, thinking about her career and how far she can go, and you know, she wants to apply for some job where she has to travel, and you know, if she has a family or she's in a marriage, that may possibly hinder her from moving up in a company, or, you know, whatever the situation is, right? You got to really have these tough conversations to figure out if this person is even worth marrying.